Alright.
Wow! Wow!
Oke, Hi everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Meet me again. Hari ini kita masih menyinggung tentang research methodology, khususnya on language. In previous topic, di topik sebelumnya kita sudah membahas tipe-tipe dan apa definisi umum dari research dan tipe-tipe research yang umumnya kita ketahui. Untuk hari ini kita akan lebih fokus membahas research methodology yang dapat kalian gunakan dalam bidang kebahasaan, ya, khususnya untuk mata kuliah kita yang research method on linguistic. Jadi ada beberapa classification of research method on language fields. The first one is quantitative method and the second one is qualitative method. The quantitative method deal with collection and analysis of numerical data to describe, explain, predict, or control phenomenon of interest. Sedangkan kalau qualitative method, collections, analysis, and interpretation of comprehensive narrative and visual. An example, non-numerical data to gain insight into a particular phenomenon of interest, also known as interpretive research, naturalistic inquiry, or field-oriented research. Keyword that associated with qualitative research include complexity, contextual, exploration, discovery, and inductive logic. And then this one is the overview of quantitative and qualitative research characteristic for the overall one. Yeah. In type of the data collections, quantitative research deal with the numerical data, so you are deal with number. Ya, jadi ada jumlahnya, mediannya, meannya, something like that. And then we have qualitative research. In qualitative research, the type of the data collect is non-numerical, narrative, and visual data. What about for period of data collection? Quantitative research usually has shorter period of data collection, and then qualitative research need longer period. What about the research problem? In quantitative research, you have hypothesis and research procedures stated before, while in qualitative research, the research problems and methods evolve as understanding of topic depend. In quantitative research, you need to manipulations of context, and in qualitative, no. For the research procedures, the qualitative research relies on statistical procedures, and quantitative research relies on statistical procedures, and for the qualitative research relies on categorizing and organizing data into patterns to produce a descriptive narrative synthesis. For the interaction of the participants or the subject of the study, in quantitative research, you need little interactions, while in qualitative research, you need extensive interaction to the participant. And for the underlying belief, for quantitative, we live in a stable and predictable world that we can measure. So you can do some like statistical analysis before, ya. Jadi bisa dihitung nilainya itu. And understand, we can measure, understand, and generalize about. While for the qualitative research, meaning is situated in a particular perspective or context that is different for people and groups. Therefore, the word has many meanings. Jadi kalau di qualitative research ini lebih deal-nya atau lebih berhubungannya dengan point of view someone, point of view the objects, point of view of you, gitu ya, dari perspektifnya. And then for the research method itself, for quantitative research method, sometimes people also call it as positivism. And for the qualitative research method, it's also called as interpretivism. And for mixed method means you mix with between quantitative and qualitative. So you have the explorations, you have the deep interview for knowing the subject point of view, while you also distribute the test, distribute the questionnaire to know the exact number. So it mixes method between the quantitative and the qualitative research. and it also called pragmatism. The first one is we will discuss more is about quantitative research method or positivisms. There are several types of quantitative research. The first one is survey research, and then correlational research, causal comparative research, experimental research, single subject research. Subject research, what is subject research? Subject research means that you collect numerical data to test hypotheses or answer questions about the current status of the subject of the study. And you assessing the preferences, attitudes, perceptions, practices, concerns, or interests of a group of people. The data are mainly collected through questionnaires, interviews, or observations. In survey research also, you need to find out the preferences, etc. And you use SPSS program to analyze the data. So you have the statistical applications or program to analyze or to calculate the data you get from your data collection technique letter. Yeah. For survey research, 1,000 participants are the normal. Ya, normalnya jumlah partisipannya itu harus besar karena biar datanya itu complete ya. If you need 1,000 participants, you need to send out 2,500 survey instrument as the return rate was approximately 40%. Ya. Arrange the statement to some positive statement and some negative statement to minimize the problem of some participant that just circle all the same number, so they have to read before answer. Report in the writing report the limitations of the survey method and the number of incomplete and number to send out. Major challenges for survey research is the participants. Sometimes your participants fail to return questionnaires. They don't fill out your questionnaires. They don't give it back to you, something like that. Yeah. Sometimes also the participant willingness to be survey over the phone. Kadang mereka tuh nggak mau ngisi survei langsung, udah kamu telepon juga nggak mau ngisi survei gitu ya. Ability to attend schedule interviews. Kalau kamu menggunakan interview, data collection tekniknya menggunakan interview, kadang your participant itu nggak bisa hadir pada saat jadwal yang sudah kamu tentukan untuk interview. Itu beberapa challenges atau tantangan yang mungkin kalian temuin ketika kalian melakukan survey research. If the response rate is low, researcher unable to draw valid, trustworthy conclusions. Jadi kalau seandainya jumlah partisipan yang merespon kuesioner kalian atau merespon interview kalian itu sedikit, itu hasilnya nanti nggak valid. Jadi ada ketentuannya berapa jumlah minimal partisipan yang harus kalian ambil ketika kalian menggunakan survey research ya untuk mencapai validity of your survey. In survey research, commonly used 4-point Likert scale, items ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree, ya, yang skala kesukaan itu Likert scale. Jadi ada yang biasanya pilih 1 kalau kamu strongly disagree, pilih 2 kalau kamu disagree, pilih 3 kalau kamu agree, dan pilih 4 kalau kamu strongly agree, something like that ya. Try to avoid neutral, not sure, and undecided. Call the participants if incomplete and your target not meet, but is have more than enough, then just forget about it. Jadi makanya tadi kalau kamu menargetkan 1.000 partisipan, kamu harus menyebarkan lebih banyak dari itu. Tadi contohnya 2.500 survei yang kamu sebarkan. Jadi kalau seandainya masih nggak tercapai target 1.000, kamu harus melakukan pendekatan ke target kamu, ke partisipan kamu telepon, adakan approach lagi. Tapi kalau memang udah cukup, ya nggak usah gitu ya. Here are some examples of research questions that can be examined with survey research ya. Contoh yang pertama itu how do university students spend their leisure time? Nah, ini kan bisa dijawab dengan kalian memberikan kuesioner pertanyaan ke mahasiswa-mahasiswanya gitu ya. Or second question, second example, how will citizen of Malaysia vote in the next general elections? Coba nanti kalian pikirkan lagi kira-kira research questions apa lagi yang dapat kita investigate with survey research. The second one is correlational research. In correlational research, collecting data to ascertain whether a relation exists between two or more variables and to what degree the relation exists. The degree of relation is expressed as correlation coefficient atau apa namanya koefisiensi korelasi gitu ya kalau in Indonesia. A value ranging from 1 to +1. Lihat contoh di bawah, -1 lebih kecil daripada R, lebih kecil dari 1. Kalau seandainya hasilnya nanti 0, maka itu no relationship. Ini contoh figurnya yang menggambarkan kalau dia, ini -1 berarti correlationnya rendah, ini correlation yang nggak ada hubungan sama sekali antara dua variabel yang kita sedang uji tadi. Ini kalau variabelnya tinggi ya. Oke. Two variables that are not related, kalau dua variabel yang kalian uji tidak berhubungan, maka correlation coefficientnya 0 ya, 0. A correlation coefficient near +1 indicates a highly or strongly positive correlations. Terus kebalikannya, a correlation coefficient near -1, ini -1 ya, indicates a highly strongly negative correlations. A positive correlations means ya, as the value of one variable increases, the value of other variable also increases. In example, students with higher scores in mathematics also have higher scores in physics, gitu ya. And then for a negative correlation, as the variable of one variable increase, the value of other variable malah decreases, nurun malah ya. Kalau yang satunya naik, yang satunya turun juga itunya. Example, student with CGPA have the least likelihood of dropping out. Jadi mahasiswa yang punya apa namanya IP tinggi itu paling sedikit yang drop out gitu ya. Results of correlational studies do not suggest cause-effect relations among variables. Jadi nggak ada cause-effect relationsnya ya. A positive correlation between scores in mathematics and score in physics, for example, before, kayak yang contoh sebelumnya, does not imply that scores in mathematics causes scores in physics or scores in physics causes scores in mathematics. The positive correlations indicates only that students with higher score in mathematics tend to have higher scores in physics, and students with lower score in mathematics tend to have lower score in physics. Yang tentunya mungkin banyak, there are so many other factors that cause it, ya, bukan karena nilai matematikanya yang tinggi sehingga mempengaruhi nilai fisiknya yang tinggi. Itu yang harus kalian teliti faktornya apa gitu ya. In correlational studies, we cannot conclude that one variable is the cause of the other. Here are some examples of research questions that can be examined with correlational research. For example, what is the relation between IQ and self-esteem? Or does a static aptitude test predict success in a statistic course? If the correlation is high, the aptitude test is a good predictor of success in statistics. Ini nanti coba dipikirkan lagi juga contoh lain research questions yang dapat kita cek dengan correlational research ya. Ini ada beberapa examples of correlational research that you can found and search in the internet ya. Nanti tinggal diklik aja linknya. And then the third one is causal comparative research. It attempts to determine the cause-effect relations among groups, and then attempts to determine the cause or reason for the existing differences in the behavior or status of groups of individuals. The cause is in example, the behavior or characteristic believed to influence some other behavior or characteristic is known as the grouping variable. Yeah. The effect or result, an example, the change or difference in a behavior or characteristic is known as the dependent variable. Ya, jadi ada dependent variable and independent variable-nya. A weakness of causal comparative research, other relevant variables that may affect the outcome or the study are not controlled. Ya. Those causal comparative research provides limited cause-effect information. True cause-effect relations can be determined only through experimental research. Jadi baru bisa kalian tentukan ketika kalian melalui research eksperimental. Jadi harus ada eksperimental lagi setelahnya. When experimental research is inappropriate or unethical, causal comparative research is more inappropriate. Jadi ketika nggak bisa kalian melakukan experimental research dengan alasan-alasan tertentu ya, baru kalian maka kalian harus pakainya causal comparative research. Contoh, research on the effect of heavy smoking on lung cancer. It is unethical to ask one group or people to smoke heavily because of the potential harm to those who were forced to smoke, gitu ya. Here are some example of research question that can be examined with causal comparative research. The first one is, how does having a single parent family affect a student's academic achievement? Grouping variabelnya the type of family, ya, apakah dia single parent family atau two parent family. Sedangkan dependent variabelnya is academic achievement. Jadi kalian lihat causal comparative research-nya mempengaruhi nggak yang anak yang punya single parent dengan anak yang punya complete parent. Ya, apakah akan mempengaruhi academic achievement-nya atau enggak? The researcher identifies one group of students who comes from a single parent family and another group of students who comes from a two parent family and see if they differ in their achievement. Ya, karena mau melihat apakah ada bedanya nggak dengan kelompok siswa yang punya orang tua tunggal sama kelompok siswa yang punya orang tua lengkap, gitu ya. Ini ada beberapa contoh research yang menggunakan causal comparative dari Wolgemal, Winokur, and Ellerby, comparing longitudinal academic achievement of full day and half day kindergarten students. Jadi antara siswa TK yang full day sama yang half day. Jadi tujuan research ini adalah comparing mathematics and reading achievement of full day and half day kindergarten students. Partisipannya 489 siswa yang mengikuti full day kindergarten and half day kindergarten. Terus yang selanjutnya kita punya experimental research. In experimental research manipulates at least one independent variable, controls others relevant variables that may affect the outcome, the dependent variables of the study, and observe the effect on one or more dependent variables. The independent variables, also known as treatment, causal or experimental variable, is the treatment or characteristic believed to make a difference. Jadi, independent variable itu adalah treatmentnya yang kalian kasih ke grupnya itu ya. Contoh, the independent variable ada method of instruction, type of reinforcement, arrangement of learning environment, type of learning materials, length of treatments. Ada 3 tipe dari experimental study. Yang pertama adalah pre-experiment study, true experimental study, and quasi-experiment study. The dependent variable, also known as criterion, effect, or post-test variable, is the outcome of the study, the change or difference in groups that occurs as a result of the independent variable. The dependent variable can be measured by a test or some other quantitative measure, example attendance, time on task. Manipulations and control. Manipulation of an independent variable, what does it mean? It means that the researcher choose the treatments and determines which group will receive which treatment. Jadi nanti biasanya di experimental research ini kalian akan punya 2 grup, satunya grup eksperimental, satunya grup kontrol. Grup kontrol adalah grup yang tidak kalian kasih apapun gitu ya. Control refers to the researcher's effort to remove the influence of any variable. Other than the independent variable, they may affect performance on dependent variable, can control other variable except independent variable. So, in other words, in an experimental design, the group should differ only on the independent variable. Example nih, time of tutoring must be controlled in order to make a fair comparison of the effectiveness of tutoring of peer tutors and parent tutors. Gitu ya. Jadi mana yang ditutorin sama teman, mana yang ditutorin sama orang tua, itu waktu tutoringnya harus dikontrol, harus sama gitu ya, biar hasilnya nggak bias. In experimental research, the researchers compare the effects of different treatment or treatment versus no treatment on two or more groups of people. True experimental research provides the strongest result of any of the quantitative research approaches because it provides clear evidence for linking variables. True experimental research also provides generalizability, in example, applicability of findings to other settings and contexts. Example of research question that can be examined with experimental research. For example, the first question is constructivist teaching method more effective for increasing students' mathematics achievement than traditional teaching method? Jadi ada yang kita bahas itu adalah constructivist teaching method versus traditional teaching method ya. Independent variable-nya adalah the type of teaching method tadi, constructivist atau traditional. Sedangkan dependent variable-nya adalah mathematics achievement. Jadi nanti kalian akan lihat yang mana yang lebih besar atau yang mana yang nilainya lebih bagus, yang menggunakan constructivist teaching method atau yang menggunakan traditional teaching method, for example. Nanti kalian coba pikirkan kira-kira questions apa lagi yang dapat kita uji dengan experimental research. Ini ada contoh dari experimental research yang sudah pernah dilakukan oleh Sin Yipi, Jitendra, and Deadline ya, tahun 2005. Mereka menggunakan judul Effect of Mathematical Word Problem Solving Instructions on Middle School Students with Learning Problems. Di sini tujuannya adalah examine the effects of two-word problem solving instruction approaches, scheme-based instruction, and general strategy instruction on the mathematical word problem solving performance of middle school students with learning problems. Partisipannya ada 22 students with learning problems ya. The more the participants, the effect size will be larger. Normally is 50 to 100 participants on classroom size ya kalau untuk experimental research. Terus yang kelima kita punya single subject research. In single subject research, the researchers compare a single person behavior before treatment to behavior exhibited during the experiments. May also study a number of people together as one group ya. In single subject experimental design, the researchers study the behavior change that an individual or group exhibit as a result of some intervention or treatment. In this design, the size of the sample is considered as one group. Ya. Ini contohnya, the effects of instruction in an assignment completion strategy on the homework performance of students with learning disabilities in general education. Purpose of this study is to determine how instruction in a comprehensive, independent assignment completion strategy affected the quality of homework and the homework completion rate of students with learning disabilities. Participants-nya 8 students with learning disabilities that considered as one group, yeah, and the design used single subject experimental design. Okay, now the next one is qualitative research method atau interpretivism. There are several types of qualitative research. The first one is case study. The second one is ethnographic research. The third one is ethology research, ethnomethodology research, grounded theory research, phenomenology research, symbolic interaction research, historical research, and narrative research. Examples, identify the types of qualitative research for each on the following statement. Ya, kalau untuk studies that describe the lives of individual, kita biasanya menggunakan naratif. Studies that focus in depth on a group's cultural patterns and perspective to understand participants' behavior and their context, kita menggunakan ethnographic. Kalau studies that derive theory using multiple steps of data collections and interpretation that link actions of participants to general social science theory or work inductively to arrive at a theory that explains a particular phenomenon, we use grounded theory. Ya. Kalau studies that look for common understanding that have emerged to give meaning to participant interaction, we use symbolic interactions. Studies that examine how multiple cultures compare to one another, we use ethology. Studies that focus on capturing the experience of an activity or concept from participants' perspective, we use phenomenology. Studies that focus on the explorations of phenomena that occur within a bounded system, example person, event, program, or life cycle, we use case study. Studies that seek to understand the past by studying documents, relics, and interview, we use historical. Studies that examine people's understanding of their daily activities, we use ethnomethodology. The first one is case study research. Research focus on a unit of study or bounded system. As small group as one student. Jadi paling kecilnya sampelnya bisa 1 orang ya. The term case study is also used for the product of case study research. Case study research is appropriate when the researcher wants to answer a descriptive question like what happened, or explanatory questions like how or why did something happen. Contoh, misalkan ini ada contoh research question yang bisa diuji dengan case study research. How do doctors and nurses manage and cope with multiple innovations? Jadi untuk menjawabnya, kalian melakukan case study research. Ya. Ini ada examples yang dilakukan oleh Kurner and Abdul Tawab 2006, using community as a resource for teachers education. It's a case study, equality and excellence in education. Purpose of the study examine the processes of using a community organization to lead the discussion and obstacle inherent to the university setting. Duration and size about 2 years. Kualitatif tadi kan memang longer period ya. Dia waktu penelitiannya biasanya lebih banyak, lebih lama daripada yang kuantitatif. Kalian bisa bayangkan untuk yang contoh yang dilakukan oleh Corner itu masa mereka melakukan penelitian adalah 2 tahun atau 4 semester di universitas tersebut dan di komunitas sekitar. Yang kedua, ethnographic research. In ethnographic research, examine the cultural patterns and perspective of participants in their natural settings. Example, in village, college, office. It focuses on a particular site or sites that provide the researcher with a context in which to study both the setting and the participants who inhabit it. The participants are observed as they take part in naturally occurring activities within the setting. Ini contoh, here is example of research question that can be examined with ethnographic research. What is the working cultures of managers in a multinational company? Ya, jadi kalian meneliti di perusahaan itu working culture manager di situ seperti apa gitu. Ini contoh yang dilakukan oleh Lansky, Crawford, and Crumpler, and Stalwart, 2005. Preparing pre-service teachers in a diverse world. Yeah. Purpose of this study is provide a more adequate preparation for working in high-need schools by assisting educators in the development of habits of mind that incorporate on understanding and valuing of students' culture and recognitions of the need to consider those cultures in teaching practices. Participants they have 28 pre-service teachers who enroll in an elementary education program. The third one is historical research. It focuses primarily on the past, ya. Jadi dia fokusnya pada masa lalu. Memang kita harusnya tidak menginginkan masa lalu, tapi itu tidak berlaku untuk dunia pendidikan, ya. Kita harus melihat ke masa lalu. Some aspect of the past is studied by perusing documents of the period by examining relics or by interviewing individuals who lived during the time. An attempt is then made to reconstruct what happened during that time as completely and as accurately as possible and to explain why it happened, although this can never be fully accomplished since information from and about the past is always incomplete. It attempts to describe, explain, and understand actions or events that happened in the past. Primary source, you can use newspaper articles, record from diaries, data from diaries, speeches, interviews, or autobiographies. Secondary source, sources tambahannya, you can use articles by other historians, articles and books by scholars, ideas from philosophers, editorials, commentaries, biographies, gitu ya. Ini ada contoh. Example, for the first one is how were students educated in Malaysia during the British colonization? What has been the role of the federal government of Malaysia in education? Ini ada examples of historical research, self-actualization in a period of transition. Focus of the study is to attempt to describe a 19th century woman who made a significant impact on education. The fourth one is narrative research. In narrative research, the study of how people experience the world around them. Jadi ini mempelajari tentang bagaimana orang-orang mengalami atau menjalani dunia di sekeliling mereka, gitu ya. It allows people to tell the stories of their life. The researcher typically focuses on a single person. Jadi biasanya subjeknya satu orang, and gathers data by collecting stories about that person's life. The researcher and participant then construct a written account known as a narrative about the individual's experience and the meanings the individual attributes to the experiences. It's an example of narrative research by Jeng Hee Kim, 2006, for whom the school bell tolls conflicting voices inside an alternative high school. Purpose of this study is to provide readers with vicarious access to tensions that exist in an alternative school so that they may engage in questioning the nature and purpose of these spaces. Participants are principal, teacher, male student, female student, and school security guard. And the last one is mixed method research, or it also called as pragmatism. In mixed method research, it's integrating between quantitative and qualitative method in a single study. Jadi digabungkan, mengintegrasikan antara kuantitatif dan kualitatif. Build on the synergy and strength that exists between quantitative and qualitative research method to understand a phenomenon more fully than is possible using either quantitative or qualitative methods alone. Jadi biasanya orang menggunakan mixed method karena biar hasilnya itu lebih kuat lagi daripada kalau dilakukan dengan kuantitatif aja atau dengan kualitatif aja. Provide an understanding both broad. Ya, not possible to achieve such an understanding through a quantitative or qualitative design alone. Three common types of mixed method research design: the qual, the quan, and the qual-quan model. The qual-quan model, quan-qual model, and the qual-quan model. The method in uppercase letter is weighted more heavily dominant than the method in lowercase letter. Jadi kalau yang pertama qual-quan model ini kita lebih dominan kualitatifnya daripada kuantitatifnya. Mungkin kuantitatifnya cuma buat supporting data aja. Kalau yang ini kebalikannya, kuantitatifnya lebih kuat daripada kualitatifnya. Kalau yang nomor 3, dua-duanya sama kuat. Ya, quant model. They are in balance when both methods are in uppercase. Jadi balance, seimbang. Here is mixed method ya, ini kualitatif, kualitatif, kuantitatif. Sample must be from the group. The sample of quantitative must be bigger than qualitative or vice versa. Saturated further to take the data. Interview won't help you. So start analysis. Qualitative, no formula to determine the number of sample. Quantitative will have if we have more number and there is a formula to determine the number of sample to start off analysis whenever you get the data. Qual-quant model. In qual-quant model, the qualitative is more dominant than the quantitative, ya. Known as the sequential exploratory mixed method designs. Qualitative data are collected first. Jadi kamu ambil kualitatif datanya dulu. Qualitative data are more heavily weighted than quantitative data. Phase 1 using qualitative, phase 2 using quantitative. In qual model, the vice versa, kebalikannya, known as the sequential explanatory mixed method designs. Kalau yang tadi kan also known as the sequential exploratory mixed method design, sama ya. In qual model, quantitative data are collected first. Jadi data kuantitatifnya dulu yang kalian ambil, and then quantitative datanya are more heavily weighted than qualitative data. Yang ketiga yang balance quant model, known as the concurrent triangulation mixed method design. Triangulation mixed method. Ya, quantitative and qualitative data are collected concurrently throughout the study. Jadi ya bareng-bareng aja kalian ngambil datanya. While you collecting the quantitative, you also collecting the qualitative. Quantitative and qualitative data are equally weighted. The strength of the qualitative data offset the weaknesses of the quantitative data and vice versa. Jadi saling mensupport ya antara kualitatif dan kuantitatif dalam metode yang ini. Ini ada examples of mixed method research. Ya, how should middle school students with learning disabilities approach online note taking? Ya, it used qual model. Quantitative data were collected first from experimental inquiry. Jadi dia lakukan kuantitatifnya dulu. And then qualitative data were collected from interview and students' note. How to identify studies that using mixed method designs? Ya, through the following characteristic. First, the study title includes such terms as quantitative and qualitative, mixed method, integrated, triangular, or other terms that suggest a mixture of methods. Both quantitative and qualitative method are used in the study. The researcher described the kinds of mixed method applied. The data collection described the kinds of data that are collected. Narrative, numerical, or both. The purpose statement or the researcher questions indicate the types of method used. Questions are stated and described for both quantitative and qualitative approaches. The researcher indicates that preference given to quantitative or qualitative data collection techniques. The researcher indicates the sequence in which quantitative, qualitative, or both types of data were collected. The researcher described how data were analyzed using both quantitative and qualitative strategies. The writing is balanced in terms of quantitative and qualitative approaches. How to evaluate a mixed method study? Through the following questions. The first one is, does the study include rationale for using a mixed method research design? Second, is the correct type of mixed method research design used? Does the study appropriately use both quantitative and qualitative data collection method? Is the priority given quantitative and qualitative data collections and the sequence of their use reasonable, given the research question? Was the study visible given the amount of data to be collected and concomitant issues of resources, time, and expertise? Does the study clearly identify quantitative and qualitative data collection techniques? Does the study use appropriate data analysis technique for the type of mixed method design? Okay, it's the closures. Research methodology we have quantitative method, qualitative method, and also mixed methods. The methodological history can be summarized as three waves: the dominance of quantitative methods as wave 1, the emergence of qualitative method as wave 2, and the growth of mixed method as wave 3. Which method is more appropriate for your study? It depends on the nature of the study or the topic. Jadi mana yang lebih cocok untuk penelitian kalian ya tergantung dari esensi hal yang mau kalian teliti nantinya ya. The appropriate method for a given study is determined by the nature of the research questions, topic, or problem to be investigated. Consider other factors as well. Example, time and resources. Alright, I think that's all. Okay. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, you can directly go to our WhatsApp group for having the discussions there. I think that's all for today's topic. Thank you for your attention and see you next topic. Goodbye and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.